Yes, sir.
right? Yeah, you explained nullish coalescing operator, but let me reiterate that. See, nullish operator will check whether the value is defined or not. Okay, let's say I am using like it's a binary operator. If I so this is how if I use it will check whether A is defined or not, and B is defined. You know, if not, then it will return the B value B. If A is defined, then it will return A. That's how it works. Simple. If A is defined or not, it is going to check. If A is not defined, then it will return B. Whether B is defined, not defined, it doesn't matter. So first, what is the meaning defined? If A value is other than null or undefined, then it is called defined. It should not have null, it should not have undefined. In that case, it is considered as defined. For example, now if I, can you tell me what is the value of A? If I am just trying to access a value of A,
Undefined.
undefined. Yeah, if it is created, then it will be undefined. If it is not created, then it will have reference error. Undefined, you know how? If I just declare, then it is undefined. Now check the A value, it is undefined. Now if I check A, nullish coalescing operator, and then I'll say true, the output will be true. It's not A. For the same A, if I just put 0 and then again try the same operation, then it will give me 0. So it is not checking whether the value is true or false. It is checking the first of all value is defined or not. So in JavaScript, we consider that is defined only if it is not having undefined nor null. Very important operator. Yeah, many people will use for checking instead of ternary operator and all that. Yes, apart from this, we have learned so many of the
Sir,
statements.
here one doubt. Sir, if we both the values are not defined, we will get last one.
Okay. See now, yeah, let's try that case also. Let's say B and let us define C also. Are both these defined? Answer is no. Correct? Both are not defined because they have initial value of
Yes.
undefined. Now what is the output? Which will be then C. How do you say?
See, yeah.
It is returning C. How do you say? Let's say put say, a single quote in the B. See what is the output you are getting. Clear?
Yes.
All right. Okay, now let's understand different types of function syntax. Okay, so we have got functions, function expression, arrow functions. In the previous class, I told you what is the purpose of functions, why we need function. I think couple of the reasons I told you why we have function. One is for reusability. Second one is modularity.
Modularity. Yes, sir.
Yeah, or
We
grouping.
can group that
Yeah, we can group a set of
statement.
group a set of lines into under one name. In JavaScript, creating function is very easy. Okay, and I told you there are three syntaxes in JavaScript function creation. Which one is used? All three are used. Which one is very common? Nowadays, arrow function is very common. Yeah. So all that it is required is you should have. So the first syntax I'm going to talk, which is called function declaration. I think I told you function definition. No, it is called function, declaration syntax. Okay. So the way we start is function keyword and the name of the function. Okay. This can be any name of the function you want to give. And then after that, followed by that, you can have parentheses. Within the parentheses, you can have one or more parameters. You can have parameter, you need not have parameter. And there also you don't have to mention any data type, unlike other languages like C or Java. You just go on mentioning how many ever parameter this function wants to receive. And yes, like any other function, so here JavaScript also will have a return value, meaning it has a return statement. If this function has to return something, you can mention here. What do you want to return? Let's say you want to return A or B or C. Fine. You write and you return. So this is called function declaration syntax. And this is the way we define functions in most of the languages. It's the same syntax. I'm saying this is more simpler than any other place because we don't even have to define the type. All we have to use is a function keyword and the name of the function. Followed by that, we'll have parenthesis and curly bracket. Now this is how we define a function. So we should also know how to invoke that function. Correct?
Yes.
Right?
Function name followed by
Function
parenthesis.
name followed by two parentheses. See, in JavaScript, I can call this function without even passing any parameter. That is also valid. I can call the same function using some value also. I can pass it even using two values or three values. So it doesn't even throw an error. Did it throw an error here? No. Did it throw an error here? No. That B is missing, C is missing. Did it throw an error 1, 2, 3? You passed more. Or let's say if I pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it doesn't even complain that you have passed extra arguments. Do you see? That is giving you an error. So you pass less, you pass more, you pass more, you pass less. You don't have issues. But this is how we can invoke the function. Now also this is how we can declare that function. Is it clear? This is another syntax. This is called function declaration syntax. Now the same test function can be defined in a different way, like a variable like syntax. I can say now const test fn. Now this is like a variable, so I can write a function definition here without a name. And this, okay, so this is called anonymous function. This right side is anonymous function because I have not given any name. I just use the function keyword and I'm just telling the parameters. Now the thing is, this function, this reference of this, I'm assigning it to a variable. And this syntax is looking more of like LHS is equal to RHS, something like A is equal to B, correct? This is called an expression, assignment, correct? What is the syntax called? Expression. Why? Because we are using a assignment symbol. Okay, sorry, this syntax is called function expression syntax because it is written like an expression. This is the only difference. Yeah, this is called function expression syntax, but there is no difference in the invocation. To the earlier syntax and to this new syntax, there is no difference in the invocation. Only thing is the way we define, I mean the syntax we define is differing, and this syntax is called function expression syntax. Is it clear? I told you another syntax which is called anonymous function. Yes, JavaScript also provides one more way of creating function. I think I told you only three, but then you see I can call a function immediately after it has been defined. Sorry, this is not the way. Should wrap with this also inside curly bracket like this. Now you can execute. See, this function got immediately executed. And here this part, whatever we define without a name, is called anonymous function also. Nameless functions. Again, we use this kind of syntax also without giving a name. Yeah, this is the third syntax you remember now. Now let's
Sir,
have,
wonder.
yeah. What's it?
So you said function purpose is reusability, correct? This anonymous function, suppose for example, I need that function. We have total 1,000 number of lines. I need that function should be called in at line number 999. How we can call that anonymous function? That not be possible. Without function name, we can't call it.
See, I mean, they have variety of syntax. Yes, I told functions are reusable, but it doesn't mean that all syntax should be reusable. This anonymous is created for a specific purpose. Yeah, something like, let's say I'm now, I want something like to be executed only once. These are also called as in other language like Java, they call singleton class, where you can only create one instance of that class. You cannot create multiple instances.
Okay.
Yeah. So for those kind of
Yes.
stuff, we use this function syntax. All right. So we saw this is expression syntax. Now I'm getting an error because this variable has been already declared. Yeah. So I'm trying to declare, but it says this variable already exists. That's the only reason. But if I change it to test function 1, I think it is going to work. Now how I can call this function? Same way. So no difference in the change. Execute the way you invoke a function. Way you call the function. Call, invoke, both are same. Now let me tell you the last and now the modern syntax. This is also more preferred. It is very simple. Instead of function, we remove this function keyword. We keep this as is. We remove the function keyword. We just put one arrow symbol here. What did we do? I'll show you. It was like this. It was like this. And then I removed that same keyword. We added an arrow between the parenthesis and a curly bracket. And this syntax is called arrow function. Why? Because we are using an arrow. You understand? So this syntax is also same, and it's the same way you can invoke the function, even the arrow function. Yeah. Again, we can also use this arrow functions for self-invoking function. These functions which can be executed immediately. They are also called as self-invoking. You don't have to invoke. You can use even this syntax also here. But that's fine. So like this, yeah, like this, we have got four ways to define functions in JavaScript. All these function syntax are very important. I know you guys are already solving so many problems. So through that, I think already you are familiar with the normal function declaration or function definition syntax. Yeah, this is called function declaration, as I mentioned. So meaning we declare a function. So I think they have told you all these things, default values, returning value. So you guys read and come. Maybe I think we can go quickly if at all you guys have any questions in these three topics. Yeah, I'll also try to highlight some more differences. What is what? Yeah, arrow functions means what? When do we use? Why do we use? I'm going to mention.
Sir, I have one doubt, sir. ಸರ್ ಅದು ಇವಾಗ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ.
That's why. Okay, these things only.
ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್
These things only. I'm going to explain tomorrow. You read and come. You read these 3 topics and come. Practice these examples, whatever they have given here, and come.
Sir, can I answer
Yeah,
Jai's question?
yeah, you can answer. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, Jai. Yeah, basically for in that function declaration scenario, if we call it before I mean at the top of that function, you will get an actual copy of that function in that console.
So,
Whereas in that function expression and the arrow functions will get undefined
no,
when you are calling.
no, not correct.
Yes.
I asking it's execute or not.
Yeah.
Gives any error or not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will tell you.
yeah, it will execute, but will get that undefined value.
No, money. That's not really correct. See, let's say his question is, I have a defined function I have defined. Now, can I call it before it is being defined? That's what his question is.
Yes.
Yes, sir,
Answer,
we can call.
we can invoke it only in case of function declaration syntax only.
Yes,
That
sir, that's what
you
I
also
see.
told. You also said same thing. Correct.
Yes, sir, we'll get actual copy of that function in that
It's
way.
not like actual copy. This function is going to get executed for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, this function is going to get executed. It's a normal function. This I totally agree with what you said. But what happens if I have an arrow function or a function expression syntax? It will not going to execute. First of all, you cannot invoke it those 2 times. You're basically going to get an error. Why? As simple as, let's say I have defined a variable called let number is equal to 10. Now tell me what happens if I try to print this value of num before it is being declared. What will be the output if I try to print?
Undefined.
Are you sure it is
Undefined.
undefined?
Mm. No, sir, 10 only.
I think here
We'll get 10.
Why error, Ajay?
not declaring num.
Yeah, you're not declared num. Instead of not declared, here it says, okay, you cannot access the value until it is being initialized. You'll get reference error. No, not reference error, you will get a what is K? Hoisting error basically. You cannot access it, or reference error only. Num is not defined. Num variable is not defined. You are trying to access it. The same goes here.
So basically, we'll get this type of errors in type of const, correct? Later, where
No,
I think we won't get.
no, I think you're confusing. Or you got confused. Let and const both are same. In both the case, you get reference error. I showed you example now. Let. Okay, so both in case of let and const, you get the same error. Now again, let's try to call this test before it is being defined. In the next line, we'll define. What are we getting? Reference error. It is an error. If you said earlier, like earlier you said this is undefined, you are going to get undefined. But that's not going to give you undefined. It is, first of all, it will not call, it will throw an error only. So
Sir,
there is
when
there is a term actually to call this function before it is being defined. I mean, before it is being declared. This is called hoisting. Same concept is there in variables also. Yeah, Jay, go ahead.
sir when give where variable, what will happen?
When you
instead
give
of
value, yeah, in case of where it will work. In case of where only variable syntax will work, not the function syntax. You are saying, okay, what if I say variable test2 is equal to function? This is what you're asking? Yeah? Can you tell me what happens now, Mani? If I am going to call this function, but before it is being declared, or anyone knows?
Yes, we'll get that this function code. Not error, we'll get that function code.
No. Why are you talking about code? I am going to invoke that function. If I just name the, put the main name of the function, then I'm going to get the function reference, okay? So now my question is, what if I am going to execute it? I am having a var keyword, but I am trying to call that function much before.
Yes, sir. Here we are using where
Yeah, I'm using var.
where variable, so we will get that actual copy of that function,
No,
total function.
no, I think here also it again goes back to the basic. Whenever you create something as a var, it is its value becomes undefined. You can access it. There is no error actually in accessing the value, but it is not initialized. It will not be initialized this function. That's why this will have an undefined value. So I think you will have an error. Yeah, no error this time. But you see, this function did not get called.
Oh, sorry, sir. This is function expression. In terms of function declaration, we will get that
Function declaration, we
this
don't put
function.
the var only, na?
Yeah,
Correct. We
correct.
don't have var or any of those keywords we use, or we don't use variables to assign the reference of that function. All right. I think we can stop here for today. But this discussion is giving rise to, so you guys go through these 3 topics tomorrow morning, find some time, read each and every line what they have given. Very, very important. Practice those examples. Run those examples in the console like how I am doing. And understand yourself. If I have to tell you everything from you, just going to happen like what I heard a few minutes ago on CSS. So I will tell you, you will forget. Okay, so read and come. I think it's also late. So let's wind it up here for today. So we'll discuss more on the difference and different types of syntax, variations of the syntax, yeah, parameter values, what will be the initial value, how to have a default value, yeah, there are syntax variations are there. And can I pass a function itself as a parameter to another function? That is also possible. So yeah, we will see that, and then mostly JavaScript questions. Okay, any other questions?